Welcome to the last part of unit and measurements. Today I will discuss kinds of errors. Number one is systematic error. These errors occur constantly in an experiment repeated under identical conditions. Systematic errors tend to be in one direction, either positive or negative. These errors come into existence due to a definite rule. Therefore, once the rule which governs these errors is identified, these errors can be eradicated by applying proper corrections to the results obtained. Systematic errors can be classified as follows. Number A. Instrumental errors. These errors are due to a defect in instrument, like error due to defective alignment of instrument, zero error in vernier calipers, screw gauge, and spherometer, backlash error, etc. Error due to imperfection. This error occur due to some imperfection of the apparatus used in an experiment. Example, in heat experiments, the loss of heat due to radiation is an unwanted phenomenon. However, a good insulation can stop the heat loss up to a great extent. Gross errors. This error is introduced due to carelessness of the experimenter, such as improper adjustment of the experimental setup in observational part and computational mistakes, etc. These errors can be avoided by careful working. Second is random errors. The errors which arise due to all of sudden factors is called random errors. There are so many factors that come across all of sudden and hence affect the value of measurement. They are fluctuations in temperature, fluctuations in voltage supply, change in pressure. Random errors are calculated on the basis of theory of probability by applying the Gaussian law of normal distribution. This implies that the probability of an error plus delta A in measurement of a quantity A is the same as the probability of an error minus delta A in that very measurement. Figure below shows the graphical representation of this law. Random error can be minimized by taking a large number of readings of the same quantity and then calculating arithmetic mean. Here we will discuss about absolute error. Suppose that you have measured a physical quantity. Now you want to know what is the absolute error. To know the absolute error in this measurement, you should know the true value of this physical quantity. Now the problem arises, how will you obtain the true value of the measured physical quantity? Because instrument does not gives the true value of the physical quantity. So what will we do? We will take a large number of measurements with the help of instrument and then obtain the arithmetic mean of the physical quantity to obtain the true value. So let a physical quantity capital A be measured small n times and the measurements are A1, A2 and so on An. Now to obtain the arithmetic mean of these measurements, we will sum all of them and divide by the number of measurement. In this way we will obtain the arithmetic mean. Am is equal to A1 plus A2 plus and so on An upon n. This can be written as 1 upon n summation I is equal to 1 to n ai. In place of I, if you substitute 1, 2, 3 and so on up to n, you will get the same expression. This is the method of writing a long expression into short form. Since the true value of the quantity is not known, we usually take this arithmetic mean to be the true value. Now the magnitude of deviation of the result of any measurement of quantity from the arithmetic mean is called absolute error in the measurement. Here the absolute errors in the measurement of quantities A are. You have measured A such as A1, A2 and so on An. Now here to obtain absolute errors in these measurements, we will subtract these quantities from this arithmetic mean and take the absolute value. So we will obtain delta A1. Delta A1 is the absolute error in the measurement of first reading. It will be equal to magnitude of Am minus A1. Similarly, we can obtain rest of all. Now this delta A1, delta A2 and delta n represents the magnitudes. Here sign does not matter. We take only magnitudes, mean or absolute error. It is the arithmetic mean of all the absolute errors. I have obtained these absolute errors. If we obtain the mean of all these absolute errors, then it is known as mean absolute error. So mean absolute error delta A mean is equal to delta A1 plus delta A2 plus and so on delta An upon n. This can be written as 1 upon n summation I is equal to 1 to n delta Ai. Thus the final result of measuring the physical quantity A is given in the form. Here is the final result. This is the physical quantity which you have measured. It is finally written as Am plus minus delta Am. Now this result implies that the value of A means measured physical quantity will be less than or equal to Am plus delta A mean or greater than equal to Am minus delta A mean. Now relative error or the percentage error. Relative error is the ratio of mean absolute error to the mean value of the quantity being measured. Thus relative error is equal to delta A mean upon Am, and if it is desired in percentage, then we multiply it by 100 to get percentage error. Next we discuss combination of errors. As we know, all the measured physical quantities have some errors with them, and when we perform mathematical operations with these erroneous values, then the amount of error increases. Now we will see how this error can be obtained. So first, errors in the sum or difference. We will consider two physical quantities A and B. If delta A and delta B are the corresponding absolute errors in their measurements, then measured value of A will be A plus minus delta A and measured value of B will be B plus minus delta B. First, let Z denote the sum of A and B and delta Z be the corresponding absolute error. Therefore, Z is equal to A plus B. Now we can write Z plus minus delta Z is equal to A plus minus delta A and B plus minus delta B. So we will solve this equation. Z plus minus delta Z is equal to A plus B. We will take this plus minus delta A in one bracket along delta B. So we will obtain this equation. Now this will cancel from this Z because Z is A plus B. We will obtain this equation. Now the maximum error in Z is equal to delta A plus delta B, because error will be maximum only when the sign of all the errors are same. I have considered here that all errors are with positive sign. Errors in product or quotient. So from here to here we will have to write same thing. After then, first we will consider error in product and then error in quotient. So first case, let Z denote the product of A and B and delta Z the corresponding absolute error. In that case, Z is equal to A into B and Z plus minus delta Z is equal to A plus minus delta A into B plus minus delta B. We will solve this equation. So we will obtain AB plus minus B delta A plus minus A delta B plus minus delta A delta B. Now we will divide this complete equation by Z, and which is equal to AB. So we get 1 plus minus delta Z by Z is equal to 1 plus minus delta A by A plus minus delta B by B plus minus delta A delta B by AB. Here delta A delta B upon AB is a very small quantity, so it can be neglected in this equation, and we will then obtain plus minus delta z by z plus minus delta a by a plus delta b by b. 1 and 1 will cancel out. Thus the maximum error in z will be delta z by z max is equal to delta a by a plus delta b by b. Here also we are to calculate the maximum error in z. So we have taken the magnitude of delta z by z. Means all the errors are taken with same sign. I have considered here that all errors are with positive sign. If maximum percentage error in z is desired, then this equation is multiplied by 100. We will get delta z by z max into 100 is equal to delta a by a into 100 plus delta b by b into 100. Next we discuss error in quotient. Let z denotes the quotient of a and b, and delta z the corresponding absolute error. In that case we may write z is equal to a upon b, and z plus minus delta z is equal to a plus minus delta a upon b plus minus delta b. Now we will solve this equation as we take a common from numerator and b common from denominator. We will get a 1 plus minus delta a by a upon b 1 plus minus delta b by b. Now we will write this expression in place of a upon b. We may write z 1 plus minus delta a by a, and we will take 1 plus minus delta b by b to the numerator, so it will become minus 1. Now we will again solve this equation. We will apply here binomial theorem. Now this is new thing. I will discuss binomial theorem in short here. If there is any expression of the form 1 plus x to the power m, then from binomial theorem we can expand it in the form of a series, and this series is 1 plus nx plus n minus 1 upon factorial 2 x square plus n minus 1 n minus 2 upon factorial 3 x cube plus and so on. Now if this x is much less than 1, in that case we will consider only these two terms on right hand side. Rest of the terms which are containing higher orders of x are neglected because their values are very small. So we will have the expression 1 plus x to the power n is equal to 1 plus nx. But this expression can be applied only when this x is much less than 1. We have to apply only this form of binomial theorem here in this case. So 1 plus minus delta a by delta b to the power minus 1 on applying binomial theorem will become 1 plus minus delta b by b. Now we will simplify it further as z plus minus z delta a by a plus minus z delta b by b plus minus z delta a delta b upon ab. Here the value of this last term is very small, so this term can be neglected here, and we will obtain plus minus delta z is equal to plus minus z bracket delta a by a plus delta b by b. Here this z and this z will be cancelled. So finally we will obtain this expression. This delta z is carried here along with delta z by z. Now we again want to obtain the maximum error in z. So we will consider all the errors with same sign, so that delta z by z max is equal to delta a by a plus delta b by b. If we want to have the percentage error in z, then we have to multiply this equation by 100. Next is errors due to power of a measured quantity. Let there be a quantity a and delta a be the absolute error in its measurement, then a is equal to a plus minus delta a. Now we will consider a quantity z as a square. Here the power of quantity is 2, and z plus minus delta z is equal to a plus minus delta a whole square. We will solve this expression as a square plus delta a square plus minus 2 a delta a. Here also delta a square is very small. Now I will explain why delta A square is very small. Look here. Suppose delta A is 0.5. So delta A square is equal to 0.5 into 0.5. Delta A square will be 0.25. Now you can easily notice that delta A square is extremely small in comparison to delta A. So in the same manner, here also delta A square is very small and it can be neglected. We will now get z plus minus delta z is equal to A square plus minus 2 A delta A. Here A square and z will be cancelled because z is equal to A square. So these terms will get cancelled. We will get plus minus delta z is equal to plus minus 2 A delta A, and we have the maximum value as delta z is equal to 2A delta A. Dividing both sides by z, we will have delta z by z is equal to 2A delta A by z is equal to 2A delta A upon A square. Here A will be cancelled, so delta z by z is equal to 2 delta A by. Now maximum percentage error in the value of z can be obtained by multiplying this equation by 100 on both sides. We get delta z by z max into 100 is equal to 2 delta A by A into 100. Next is general relation for errors involved in powers of measured quantities. If z is equal to A power p, b q and c power r, then in that case we may directly write delta z by z max is equal to p into delta A by A, q into delta b by b and r into delta c by c. If maximum percentage error is required, then this equation is multiplied by 100 on both the sides to get delta z by z max into 100 as maximum percentage error.